Some truths are like arrows shot in the dark, silent, unseen, but when they hit, they leave wounds no mask can cover. To the ones standing in the light, listen close. Your enemies are not just lost, they're choking on the very shadow you exposed. They thought they could bury you, but they only buried their own lies. Now, every lie they told is a noose tightening around their own necks. They're drowning in their chaos because you refuse to be silent. You didn't start the war. They're battling the universe itself by fighting you. If you feel this burning fire inside, don't let it go out. Like and subscribe now, because every time you share this message, you help wake another chosen soul. When more of us rise, the world will have no choice but to listen. You spreading this message is a signal, a beacon in the darkness that shakes the ground beneath those who think they control the story. Welcome, chosen ones. You are not alone. The universe does not make mistakes. It does not handpick the weak or the doubtful. It calls the fierce, the unstoppable, the ones who carry a light so bright it blinds the blind and shakes the foundations of false kings. Being chosen is not a gift. It's a force that haunts your enemies, a silent storm that follows your every step. They feel it, a trembling beneath their feet, a shadow they can't escape. Because you are the thunder that answers the quiet before the fall. This power you hold is ancient and relentless. It's not about magic or miracles. It's about truth so pure and so raw that it cuts through every lie they built their kingdoms on. You are the truth walking in flesh, the spark that ignites revolutions in hearts that refuse to see before. Those who mock you now are spiraling because deep down they know they're losing. You didn't break yourself by calling out their lies. You broke their silence, and that silence was their only shield. Don't doubt your light when the darkness pushes back. The universe chose you to shine in this exact moment, in this exact chaos. When they try to convince you that you're alone, remember, storms don't ask for permission to roar, and rivers don't apologize for cutting through mountains. You were made to shake worlds, to pull down empires built on fear and fake smiles. Their spiral is your victory dance. Their panic is your war cry. They lost because you stood firm, because you dared to call out what they wished stayed hidden. This is not a time for silence or second guessing. This is the era where the chosen rise and those who oppose the universe's plan crumble under the weight of their own deceit. So stand tall, chosen one. You are the reckoning. You are the universe's hand in a world too blind to see its own truth. And as long as you keep shining, they will keep spiraling, because you hold the power they fear the most, the power of being chosen. Now, let's break this down step by step. Trust me, if you're truly the chosen one, the one they never saw coming, you'll feel a force pulling you to stay, to listen, and to own your power fully. This isn't just a message. It's your call to rise even stronger. So if you're ready to stand tall while they spiral, drop the number 77 in the comments. Let's get into why they're falling apart and why you're the unstoppable storm they feared all along. Number 1, they scoffed at your voice. Now they're swallowing their own poison. They laughed, sneered, and rolled their eyes when you spoke your truth, called you wild, unstable, or just plain dramatic. But now their mockery is their downfall, and their laughter is just the echo before the storm breaks down their doors. Every warning you gave, every hard truth you dropped, was a spark in a dry forest. And now the fire is roaring out of control, consuming everything they built on lies. The same voices that tried to drown you out are now gasping for breath in the smoke of their own making. Remember this. Being chosen isn't about being popular or understood. It's about carrying a light so sharp it cuts through the fog of deception. When the universe picks you, it's not to walk an easy path. It's to walk the one others fear to tread. The power of being chosen is like a wildfire in the bones, relentless and uncontrollable. It doesn't wait for permission. It moves like a storm that no wall can hold back. Your enemies are not just losing. They're unraveling because they tried to cage what the universe set free. Doubt is the thief that tries to steal your power. It creeps in like a shadow in the night, whispering lies that maybe you're alone, maybe your light isn't strong enough, maybe you were never meant for this fight. But here's the truth they don't want you to remember. The universe doesn't choose by mistake. It aligns stars, tides, and forces beyond sight to back you up. When you question your strength, you're forgetting the cosmic army standing behind you, the unseen momentum pushing you forward. They played their games, thought they were untouchable, but they were just pawns in a system they didn't understand. Fighting you was never just about you. It was them fighting the very power of the universe. And you, chosen one, are the lightning striking their false thrones. They mocked the thunder, but they can't escape the storm. You might wonder, why me? Why did the universe choose someone like me? The answer isn't in being flawless or fearless. It's in the fire you carry despite it all. It's the raw, stubborn light that refuses to dim. You're chosen because you survive when others fold. You shine when others hide. You speak truth when silence feels safer. That's the power no enemy can take from you. And to those chosen who falter, listen close. Doubt is a cheap trick, a poison sold by fear to weaken your grip on your destiny. You are not alone. The universe is not silent. It moves in mysterious ways, aligning circumstances, people, and energy to your side. You may feel isolated, but isolation is the forge where your true strength is made. Think of it like a diamond pressed by immense pressure, bruised but unbreakable. Your enemy's laughter was their armor, but it's cracked now. They covered their ears to avoid hearing the truth, because that truth threatened their very existence. You didn't break their peace, you broke their act. They are spiraling because you called out everything, period. Point blank, no sugarcoating. Their system is collapsing under the weight of exposed lies, and you are the earthquake shaking their foundations. Let this be a reminder. Your power is terrifying to those who thrive in darkness. It's a force that makes kingdoms crumble and empires fall. You are the reckoning they never saw coming. So stand tall, chosen one. Don't waste time doubting your light when the universe itself bends to fuel your fire. Your enemies are choking because they're fighting a war they can't win, the war against the chosen force you embody. No more hiding, no more silence. Your voice is the weapon, your truth the battle cry. And as long as you refuse to back down, they will keep spiraling, because the universe chose you for this moment, and the moment is now. Number 2. You didn't just shake the tree, you tore down the whole forest of their lies. You didn't just rattle a few branches. No, you uprooted the entire ecosystem they built their fake world on. Their so-called peace. It was a lie wrapped in silence, a fortress built on cover-ups and whispers meant to keep everyone asleep. You broke the unspoken rule, the invisible chain that demanded everyone play along, keep quiet, and pretend nothing was wrong. And now, here you are, standing tall in the rubble of their illusion, while they scramble to rebuild what you tore down. Let me tell you something, chosen one. Doubting yourself right now is the cruelest mistake you can make. It's like standing in the eye of a hurricane and wondering if the storm will pass without you. Doubt is a poison that they want you to swallow, a silent assassin creeping in when the world feels too heavy, when their chaos makes you question your path. But hear this clearly. You were forged in the fire of truth, tempered by struggle, and aligned with a power so much greater than their fragile games. When you doubt your light, you give power back to the darkness that the universe sent you to expose. Think about this. A system built on lies is like a sandcastle at high tide. It looks sturdy, it seems unshakable to the blind eye, but the moment one wave hits, the whole thing crumbles. You are that wave. They called you difficult, disruptive, a troublemaker, because you refuse to keep the sandcastle intact. You refuse to play their quiet game of pretending everything's fine when it's rotten beneath the surface. And now they're drowning in the flood you unleashed. Difficult is their weapon, their way of gaslighting you into silence. But being difficult is the badge of honor for anyone chosen to expose the rotten core. The universe doesn't choose the compliant, it calls the disruptors. The ones who refuse to stay in line, who refuse to bow to comfort when truth demands a fight. The world can't move forward without the disruption of lies, and you are the quake shaking the very ground beneath their feet. You might be asking yourself, why does it feel so lonely? Why does the weight of this chosen path press down so hard? Am I truly strong enough to carry this? Listen, those questions are the battle cry of every chosen soul. It's the universe testing your resolve, pushing you to decide if you will be a flicker in the dark or a blazing sun that burns through the clouds. Strength isn't about never feeling doubt. It's about standing firm in spite of it. You are not weak for feeling the pressure. You are human. But remember, the universe aligns itself with those who refuse to surrender, those who say no to giving up and yes to their destiny. Your enemies want you to believe you're alone in this fight. They want your light to flicker, to die out, so they can rebuild their castles in peace. But you're not alone. Not now, not ever. The universe is the silent partner in your war, aligning stars, pulling strings, and shifting tides to back you up. They don't see it, but every step you take sends ripples through the fabric of existence. This is cosmic warfare, and you are a soldier who fights not with weapons, but with unwavering truth and unbreakable spirit. You disrupted an entire ecosystem, an invisible but deadly web, spun to trap minds in complacency and fear. They thought their lies were safe, wrapped in silence and shadows, but you tore that veil apart. You exposed the rot that no one wanted to see, and now their world is unraveling thread by thread. Don't let their chaos shake your faith in yourself. This unraveling is proof that you hit the nerve they didn't want touched, the raw wound they hoped would stay hidden. To those who doubt their power, imagine a river cutting through solid rock. It's not because the water is stronger than stone, but because it keeps flowing, relentless, patient, unstoppable. Your truth is that river. You don't have to be the loudest or the fastest. You only need to keep moving forward, cutting through the lies with steady persistence. Every moment you hesitate, remember the river's power lies in its consistency, not its force. And what about the enemies? They're scrambling now because the system they thrived on was never meant to withstand the light you carry. Their peace was a mirage, a desert of silence where nothing could grow but fear and deceit. By shining your light, you made the desert bloom with truth, and that's what's killing them. They thought they controlled the narrative, but you flipped the script, and now they're lost in a story they no longer recognize. You didn't just call out individuals, you took on the entire machine. You broke the unspoken pact everyone was afraid to break, the pact that said, "Don't rock the boat." But the boat was sinking, and you're the storm that's tipping it over. It's time to stop doubting if you were made for this. You were chosen for exactly this moment, because only the chosen have the strength to bring down the house of cards they built so carefully. The power of being chosen isn't about comfort or certainty. It's a hard road filled with trials, isolation, and moments where the night feels endless. But it's also a path lit by a force no enemy can touch. When the universe picks you, it's because you have something they don't: resilience, fire, and the refusal to be silent. They can call you difficult, crazy, or a troublemaker, but those are just the names the fearful give to those who shake the world awake. You might feel like your light flickers when the pressure gets too much. You might hear the voices that say, "Give up, you're alone, you're wrong." But those voices are not yours. They belong to the very system you disrupted. Remember this: doubt is their last weapon, wielded to steal your fire. Don't let them win. Hold your light higher. You were born for this chaos. You were made to be the storm that tears down the old and clears the path for new truth. In every great story, the chosen one faces doubt, not because they're weak, but because the weight of truth is heavy. But the weight is also your armor. The universe stands with you, aligning forces beyond sight, setting the stage for your victory. You didn't stumble into this role. You were called, forged, and sent to dismantle the lies they built to keep you quiet. So stand firm, scold that doubt. Remind yourself daily that the universe didn't make a mistake picking you. You are the reckoning, the unstoppable force that shakes their foundations. And the more they try to silence you, the louder your truth will roar. Because when you disrupt a system that thrived on silence, you don't just change a few lives, you change the entire game. You are the chosen storm, the breaker of false peace, the living proof that the universe's power flows through you. And as long as you keep shining, the empire of lies will keep spiraling, because you are the unstoppable truth they feared from the start. Number 3. You didn't just expose them, you shattered their false mirrors. They built their lives on a house of mirrors, reflecting back whatever image would win approval, acceptance, or just enough attention to keep them afloat. But you, raw, unfiltered, unapologetically real, you didn't just see through the illusions. You broke the mirrors, forcing them to stare into the emptiness behind their masks. And now they're lost, caught in an identity crisis they never saw coming because you dared to be the truth they refused to admit existed. To the chosen, I'm here to tell you something they don't want you to hear. Doubting your authenticity is the cruelest betrayal you can commit against yourself. You might feel exposed, vulnerable, even scared, like the whole world is watching while you stand naked in your truth. But that nakedness, that's your greatest power. It's the storm that rips away the cheap costumes everyone else wears, revealing the fragile skeleton beneath. If you hesitate or shrink back now, you give their empty performances the space to continue. Don't fall into that trap. Your rawness is the earthquake shaking their fake foundations. Consider this. When you speak your truth, it's like turning on a spotlight in a dark theater where actors have been playing roles for years. The spotlight burns away their rehearsed lines, exposes their shallow acts, and suddenly the applause stops. They panic because their identity isn't real. It was borrowed, stolen, crafted from fear and desperation. Your authenticity is the mirror they didn't want held up, and now they're forced to confront a question they've avoided for so long. Who am I really? This crisis isn't just confusion, it's terror, because their identity was never theirs. It was a mask sewn from approval, stitched with lies, glued with desperation to belong, and you shattered it all by simply being yourself. You didn't ask for their applause or validation. You didn't tiptoe around their fragile egos. You stood tall in your truth and exposed the emptiness behind their smiles. That's why they crumble now. If you find yourself wondering, am I too much, too loud, too raw? Stop. Those questions are the venom that tries to silence you. Authenticity isn't about fitting in, it's about standing out when the world demands conformity. It's about knowing that your light will blind some, but it will also guide the ones truly ready to see. Doubting your realness is doubting the very spark the universe placed inside you to disrupt and rebuild. Think of their fake identities like paper dolls in a windstorm. They look perfect when held still, but one gust and they scatter into meaningless fragments. Your truth is that wind, relentless and unstoppable. You don't fold or crease to fit their shapes. You tear through the facade until only raw, unshakable reality remains. To the enemies, your authenticity is a threat because it reveals how shallow their kingdom really is. They wore masks to hide their fear of being seen as weak or insignificant, but you pulled those masks off with a force they didn't expect. Now they stumble in the dark, trying to piece together who they are without the crutches of lies and pretense. And while they falter, you grow stronger. You may wonder if your vulnerability makes you weak. The answer is no. Vulnerability is not a crack in your armor. It's the steel forged in fire that makes you unbreakable. True strength is not silence or hiding. It's the courage to show up, naked and real, when the world demands a costume. The universe chose you because of that courage, not despite it. Remember this, those who fear your truth fear losing control. They built their worlds on your silence, counting on you to stay small and hidden. But you broke their system by refusing to dim your light. And that light? It's a beacon for others lost in the darkness of fake personas, a call to wake up and tear down the masks they wear. So, to the chosen who struggle with doubt, this is your battle cry. Your authenticity is your power. When you falter, remember that every crack you show in your mask is a crack in their fortress of lies. The universe didn't pick you to blend in or stay quiet. It picked you to shake foundations and awaken souls. Stand firm in your truth. Scold the doubt. You are not a mistake or an accident. You are the universe's thunder, the mirror that breaks their illusions, the unstoppable force that forces everyone to face who they really are. And as long as you keep shining your raw, real light, their fake identities will crumble, their hollow performances will fall silent, and you will rise, stronger, fiercer, and more alive than ever before. Number 4. They branded your clarity as arrogance until their own reality proved you right. They slapped the label on you, arrogant, cocky, full of yourself, just because you dared to speak with clarity and confidence. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Your so-called arrogance was nothing more than brutal honesty, wrapped in insight, sharp enough to cut through their fragile egos. They feared your confidence not because it was unjustified, but because it ripped apart their carefully controlled world. You must understand, chosen one, that clarity is a weapon that cuts both ways. It slices through confusion, it exposes lies, and it makes the unseen painfully visible. And when you wield that weapon, those who thrive in shadows tremble. They call it arrogance because it threatens their sense of order, the illusion that they're still in control. But you're simply holding up a mirror to their fears, and it's reflecting a truth they can't bear to face. Remember, clarity is not pride. It is power. It's the unwavering light that refuses to be dimmed by their attempts to gaslight or silence you. When you speak with certainty, you are not boasting. You are declaring what others fear to see. Your confidence is the heartbeat of the chosen, the pulse of a soul aligned with the universe's purpose. If doubt creeps in and whispers, "Are you really right? Or is this just arrogance?" Know this: the proof is in their unraveling. Their reality collapsing around them is the answer to your truth. Every time their world crumbles, it's a confirmation that your vision was clear, your voice true. Doubt is the enemy's weapon to silence you, but the universe's alignment behind you is the shield that keeps you standing tall. Think of your clarity like a lighthouse piercing through a foggy night. To some, it's blinding, harsh, even unwanted. But to those lost at sea, those who have been wandering in darkness, it's a guide, a beacon of hope. Your enemies hate the light because it exposes their hidden reefs and shallow waters. They wanted you to stay silent, to become part of the murky background. Instead, you lit the path. And now they're crashing on the rocks of their own making. To those who called you arrogant, consider this. Arrogance is a mask worn by the insecure. Your clarity stripped away their masks, forcing them to confront their own weaknesses. You didn't invent the truths, you spoke. You revealed what was already there, lurking beneath the surface. They feared your confidence because it was a reminder that they had been hiding behind lies, afraid to step into the light. You might wonder, how do I keep my confidence without becoming what they call arrogant? The answer lies in humility married to conviction. True confidence isn't loud or aggressive. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. It's knowing your worth and your truth without needing to prove it to the fearful. The universe supports those who speak from this place, those who balance strength with grace. Remember this: the universe chose you not to shrink or apologize for your truth, but to shine it brightly, so brightly that it cannot be ignored. Your clarity shakes the foundations of falsehood because it's born from a source far greater than ego or vanity. It's the light of purpose, of destiny fulfilled. So, to the chosen ones doubting their right to speak boldly, scold that doubt. It's a trick designed to keep you small and silent. You have every right to stand firm in your clarity, to speak with the confidence of one who carries the weight of universal truth. Your clarity is the sword that breaks chains, the fire that burns away illusions, the roar that wakes the sleeping. And as long as you keep wielding it with purpose, those who branded you arrogant will watch helplessly as their own realities crumble, and your vision proves true time and time again. Number 5. You pulled back the curtain and exposed their invisible chains. They thrived in shadows, wrapped in silence, feeding off secrets and unspoken rules. Their power wasn't built on open battlefields, but on invisible abuse. Emotional manipulation, guilt-tripping and silent control, so subtle, most never saw it coming. But you ripped that curtain wide open. You named their tactics for exactly what they are: abuse. And just like that, you broke the spell they cast to keep their power hidden. To the chosen, hear this: doubting the weight of what you uncovered is a trap. Sometimes the truth feels too heavy, too raw, and you wonder if you're overreacting, if you're imagining shadows where there are none. But the universe doesn't waste your energy on illusions. When you see the abuse clearly, it's because you're meant to expose it. You're the lightning striking their dark towers, illuminating every corner they hoped would remain unseen. Think of their control like invisible chains, thin threads that bind minds and hearts without leaving bruises. You saw those threads, and instead of ignoring or pretending they weren't there, you grabbed them and yanked with all your might. That's why they panic now. Their power was never meant to withstand light or resistance. They called you dramatic, overly sensitive, even paranoid. but drama and paranoia are just shields to keep you quiet. Your clarity exposed the poison they injected into relationships and spaces that were supposed to be safe. Your courage gave voice to what was whispered but never named. And in naming it, you took away their power. If doubt creeps in, ask yourself, am I truly exaggerating? Or is this the reality no one else wanted to see? Your feelings are valid, your pain is real, and your exposure of their abuse is a revolution. You didn't just point fingers, you shattered their safe hiding places. Metaphorically, you're like a sun breaking through a thick fog. That fog was their secrecy, the mist that blurred the truth until it was unrecognizable. Your light burns it away, revealing what was hidden. They hate the sun because it makes their lies impossible to hide. For those enemies, your truth is a threat because it dismantles control without a single fight. Control built on silence is brittle. Once cracked, it shatters completely. Your bravery broke the silence, and their empire of quiet manipulation is crumbling. To the chosen who question if they are too outspoken, remember this: silence was their weapon. When you speak, you disarm them. Your voice is a shield, your truth a sword. Doubting your role in this fight only hands back the power they lost. The universe chose you not to walk softly, but to roar loud and clear. Abuse lives in shadows. Your light forces it into the open. That's not just strength, it's divine justice in motion. Stand firm, reject doubt. Your clarity is the spark that ignites change, and as long as you keep exposing what others hide, their control will continue to crumble beneath your unyielding truth. Number 6. Your voice didn't shout, it delivered the final verdict. You didn't have to scream or shout to shake the foundations. They crumbled because your words were sharp, clear, and true. Your voice became the judge, the sentence, the undeniable verdict that made lies decay and false bonds break apart. You spoke from a place of clarity, not ego, and that's what made all the difference. To the chosen, this is your moment to understand the power you hold. Doubt tries to creep in, whispering that your voice isn't loud enough or that your truth is getting lost in the noise. But truth doesn't always need volume to win. It needs precision, conviction, and unwavering confidence. Your voice is not just sound, it's justice delivered. Think of your words as a scalpel, cutting through layers of deception with exactness. It's surgical, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. Lies can survive noise and chaos, but they rot away when exposed to clear, unwavering truth. Your voice is the light that exposes the rot, and they can't cover it up anymore. Your impact wasn't about making noise, it was about making sense. You didn't seek to dominate conversations. You sought to free yourself and others from chains built on deception, and the universe stands behind you, amplifying your voice in ways you may not even realize. If doubt whispers, "Was I too quiet? Did my truth matter?" Know this: every time a lie falls apart or a fake relationship collapses, that's your voice echoing in the background, delivering justice. Your clarity isn't a threat to others' egos. It's a beacon for those ready to wake up. Metaphorically, your voice is the verdict of a court long overdue, a slow but sure judgment day where deception is condemned and truth is vindicated. You didn't need to yell because your words carried the weight of undeniable proof. The silence after your truth speaks louder than any shout ever could. Enemies feared your calm because it exposed their lies without fanfare. They hoped you'd lose control or falter, but your steady voice shattered their facade more than any tantrum could. That kind of power doesn't come from ego. It comes from a deep well of clarity and purpose. To those chosen who question the impact of their quiet truth, remember this: The strongest verdicts don't come from noise, they come from conviction. Your voice is a gavel striking down falsehoods, a beacon guiding others toward freedom. Stand firm in your clarity. Reject the lies that try to silence you. Your voice is the verdict, and it's one they cannot appeal. Number 7. They wanted you quiet because your truth was too sharp to handle. They never hated you because you were wrong. No, they feared you because you were right, calm, collected, and cutting deeper than any scream could. Your quiet strength shattered their carefully constructed theater of lies, and that scared them more than any loud rebellion ever could. Chosen one, here's the truth you need to hold tight. Being silent doesn't mean being weak. Your calm is your weapon, the slow-burning fire that melts facades and burns through false narratives. The enemies wanted you silent because your accuracy made their lies impossible to sustain. And when the truth is calm but unshakable, it's a force no storm can drown. Doubt might creep in, whispering, "Did I need to shout louder? Was I too quiet to make a difference?" Let me tell you, your quiet was your power. Sometimes the loudest voice is just noise, but the quietest truth echoes the longest. Your insight, delivered with calm precision, was a scalpel cutting away the cancer of deceit. Imagine a still lake on a cold morning. The surface looks calm, even fragile, but beneath the glassy water is a powerful current moving silently, reshaping the shore. That's your truth, calm on the surface, but unstoppable underneath. They wanted you to be a noisy storm, but you were the silent force that reshaped everything. They rejected you not because you were wrong, but because your quiet certainty made them confront what they tried so hard to ignore. Your calm dismantled their drama, exposed their lies, and showed the world that their performance was just that, a shallow act with no real substance. If you ever question your impact, remember this. Truth spoken calmly is a tidal wave disguised as a whisper. It moves mountains not by noise, but by persistence and precision. The universe aligned itself with your quiet strength, making you a force that no chaos could overwhelm. Your enemies wanted silence because noise can be dismissed, but calm clarity demands attention. They feared your rightness, your insight, your ability to unravel their stories without even raising your voice. And that fear was their downfall. So scold yourself if you've doubted the power of your calm voice. It's not weakness, it's mastery. The universe chose you to be the quiet storm, the steady flame, the undeniable truth in a world that prizes noise over substance. Stand firm. Your silence is louder than their lies. Your calm is stronger than their chaos. And your truth is the force that will break down every false mask they hide behind. Number 8. You set the bridge on fire and left them to sink in their own deception. When you finally walked away, you didn't just leave a conversation unfinished. You burned the bridge that kept them safe. That fragile lifeline, their safety net woven from your silence and patience, vanished in flames. Now, they're sinking fast, trapped in a sea of lies and blame with no one left to bail them out. They wanted you as their shield, their alibi, their excuse, but you refused. And now, they face the storm alone, drowning in the consequences they thought they'd never have to answer for. Chosen one, if doubt whispers, was walking away the right choice. Remember this, you were never their safety net. You were the wildfire that cleansed the poison. Staying would have been sinking with them, dragged down by their deceit and denial. The universe didn't choose you to be their crutch or cover-up. You were made to be the spark that burns the old world away, forcing reckoning and renewal. Imagine a bridge built from rotten wood and broken promises. It may have held them for a while, but every step weakened it. When you set it on fire, you didn't destroy hope. You cleared the path for truth to rise from the ashes. Without that bridge, they're left exposed, vulnerable, forced to confront their own reflection without any place to hide. They relied on your silence like an anchor, holding their lies steady in the storm. Your departure shattered that anchor, and now their false reality is drifting, crashing against the rocks of truth. They blamed you for leaving, but it's their own deceit that's dragging them under. To the chosen doubting if they should have stayed, scold that hesitation. Your strength was in walking away. Your power was in knowing when the damage was too deep to fix and having the courage to let go. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt, they're meant to burn, so new paths can form. Your enemies never expected you to walk away. They counted on your loyalty, your forgiveness, your silence. But you broke the cycle. You refused to carry their burdens any longer, and that refusal is their punishment. Remember, the universe aligns itself with those who know when to hold on and when to let go. Your departure was not abandonment, it was liberation. Liberation for you and an unavoidable reckoning for them. So stand tall, chosen one. You burned the bridge and left them to drown in the web they wove. Their survival depends on facing the truth you forced into the light. And as long as you keep walking forward, they'll be sinking deeper into the lies only you once shielded them from. Number 9. They tried to silence you, but your isolation became a thunder that couldn't be ignored. They thought that cutting you off, leaving you alone in the quiet, would make your voice disappear. That isolation would cage your truth, bury it deep beneath layers of silence. But they were dead wrong, because what they saw as your weakness became your greatest weapon. Your solitude turned into a thunderstorm, a force so loud and fierce it shakes the very ground beneath their feet. Chosen one, if you feel the weight of isolation pressing down, don't let doubt sneak in and whisper lies. Maybe I'm forgotten. Maybe my voice doesn't matter anymore. No, isolation isn't the end. It's the crucible where your truth is forged sharper, stronger, louder. It's the silent drumbeat that echoes louder than any crowd. Think of isolation like the quiet before a storm, the moment when the air holds its breath before the thunder cracks the sky. They hoped you'd break, crumble, or disappear into the shadows. But instead, you gathered power, sharpened your clarity, and grew unshakable. Your voice isn't just heard, it's felt. It resonates through the hearts of others who've been silenced, forgotten, or dismissed. They wanted your silence because it made their lies easier to swallow, their control easier to hold. Without your voice, their world would have stayed covered in a comfortable lie. But your truth is a wildfire that can't be contained, no matter how far they try to push you away. If doubt creeps in, asking, "Am I really making a difference from this quiet place?" remember this. The loudest movements started in silence. The deepest revolutions were born in moments when one voice stood alone, refusing to be crushed. Your isolation is not a prison, it's a launch pad. Metaphorically, you're like a solitary wolf howling at the moon, your call piercing the night, a signal to others that the hunt is on, the fight is far from over, and those who hear you are waking up, gathering strength, ready to stand beside you. Your enemies fear your isolation because it proves they can't control you. They tried to cage your voice, but you turned that cage into a megaphone. Your truth isn't silent. It's a movement that rattles foundations and demands reckoning. To the chosen who feel alone, this is your reminder. Your voice matters. Your isolation is the soil where your power grows. Stand firm, roar louder from the quiet places, and watch as your truth topples the empires built on silence and fear. Number 10. They tried to break your mind, but their own sanity is crumbling. They whispered behind closed doors, smearing your name, calling you crazy to hide their dirty secrets. Their gaslighting was a weapon aimed at your mind, a desperate attempt to make you doubt your own reality. But here's the twist. They were the ones losing their grip. While they tried to break you, you healed, grew stronger, and rose above their lies. Now, it's them unraveling, caught in the chaos they created. To the chosen, listen close. Doubting your sanity is the biggest trap they set. When voices shout, "You're overreacting, you're imagining things," remember, they're projecting their guilt and fear. Your clarity, not their accusations, holds the truth. Gaslighting only works if you accept it. Reject the lie. Stand firm in your reality. Think of their gaslighting like a shadow puppet show. Fast, confusing, meant to distract and confuse. But you saw behind the curtain. You refused to play their game, and now the puppeteers are losing control, their strings tangled and broken. They labeled you crazy because truth scares them, especially when spoken with courage and conviction. They hid behind your supposed madness because facing their guilt would shatter the fragile mask of innocence they wore. You might wonder, am I really losing my mind, or am I just awake? The answer is clear. You are awake. They are asleep in denial, trapped in their own delusions. Your madness is just the universe's way of calling you to see what others won't. Metaphorically, you're the lighthouse keeper in a storm, steady and clear while the ships around you crash in confusion. Their attempts to gaslight are the crashing waves trying to silence your light. But your light only grows brighter with every wave that hits. To those enemies, your strength is a threat. They fear your truth because it breaks their control, and so they try to paint you as unstable. But it's their sanity that's fraying, their empire that's crumbling. So, chosen one, scold yourself if doubt tries to creep in. You are not crazy. You are clear, fierce, and unstoppable. Your truth is a hammer breaking chains, a fire burning away lies, and a force they can't withstand. Stand tall, embrace your clarity, and watch as they collapse under the weight of what you dared to speak. Because when the universe chooses you, it doesn't choose silence, it chooses revolution. Number 11. This is your moment. They're falling because you refuse to stay silent. Chosen one, listen closely. This isn't just a chapter, it's the reckoning. You called out every lie, shattered every mask, and refused to be quiet when the world demanded silence. And now, they're spiraling, not because you wished it, but because you stood firm in your truth. You are the storm that broke their fragile illusions, the force the universe unleashed to rewrite the rules. They thought they could break you with doubt, silence, or mockery, but you rose stronger every time. Their chaos is your victory dance. Their panic is your war cry. This spiral they're caught in, it's the price they pay for trying to cage the chosen. If you ever question your power, remember this. The universe chose you for this exact moment, for this exact fight. Your light is their reckoning, your voice is their undoing, and as long as you keep standing tall, they will keep spiraling, lost in the aftermath of the truth you dared to call out. Period. Point blank. So keep shining, keep fighting, keep being the unstoppable force that they never saw coming. Because chosen one, this is not funny now. This is your time. And they're falling because you refuse to back down. Now that you've felt the power of your truth and seen how their world is crumbling, it's time to take action. If you're ready to fully embrace your role as the chosen one, don't stay silent. Let your voice be heard. Like this video, subscribe for more raw truths, and drop the number 77 in the comments if you're owning your power and standing tall in your light. Share this message to wake more chosen souls. Together we rise, and together we break the cycle. Your time is now.